Hey guys, this is Shoe Fresheners, no introduction here. Today I'm making a video on champions and what they rate at in tower defense as well as War Guardian. Same thing, whichever one you want to use them for. I have a multitude of heroes, so I should pretty much cover all of them. Let's see, let's start off with Sue. Sue is an incredibly strong champion. I love her in arena. I love her in regular missions. Absolutely useless in tower defense and War Guardian. Don't ever use her. She has no ability. She has all single target abilities, and so she's really not beneficial. Yeah, if you want to kill one super minion super quick, that's about as good as she gets. Saizo is hands down the best tank to have. So if you have anyone in your alliance that has Saizo, ask them for him, because he has a self heal, which keeps him up much longer than the other tanks, and his Blade Runner does a good amount of area damage to multiple creeps, and he's just really strong. Let's see, Coco is definitely on my god tier list because of the fact that she can buff all of your fellow allies with a lot of stats, and both of her abilities right here and right here are multiple target, and so they do a great job of cleaning up, and she does lower the armor of those pesky monsters, which tend to have a buttload of armor. Lufia is mid-tier. The only really good, her rain of arrows doesn't do enough damage, in my opinion. Jolie is way better off. The only plus side to this is she's got lethal shots, but I don't entirely know if this is factored into tower defense, because you don't see it when you level up. Smoke is a double-sided sword. If you use his ultimate incorrectly, you're going to find yourself overwhelmed with too many monsters, and they're going to come through. But other than that, he is a really decent champion. You just want to use him in combination with a champion who you know can clear, which will eventually lead me to Jolie, who is the absolute best tower defense character that this game has ever invented, because her shooting frenzy has a huge range and kills almost everything, especially if it's maxed out. Her barrage fire does a early level, you can kill everything with it. It's really good damage. Kill shot randomly kills things that you didn't think you were gonna kill. It's great, and she just has a lot of attack damage. So if you can, you just need 2 tanks and Jolie, and you're set for most cases. War Guardian, I always start off with Gerber, Saizo, and Jolie, and I never have a problem. She's definitely god tier in tower defense. Ariel, great champion in arena, kind of worthless in tower defense. She has Clean Slate, which is an AoE, but other than that, you have other champions that do a better area of effect damage than she does. So she's mid tier. I wouldn't really use her too much. Zoe is a new character I started using. Her ultimate combined with other characters like Jolie, for example, or Teresa, is fantastic because it clumps them all together. Magnet Rush is pretty awesome in pushing back creeps that come too close to your little crystal thing. However, I have seen it push them into the crystal thing, so be careful on where you position her, and she's got a pretty decent little area of effect attack too. Alright, I don't even want to bother. She's useless. Don't ever use her in tower defense. You're better off just rebuying the heroes so that they respawn. The tank hero, because if you guys aren't aware, if you upgrade a tank, even if he's dead, he comes back out. So don't ever bother using her. Ruby is decent. I'm not a big fan of using her too much. She does have a decent rocket booster attack that does area effect and knocks him back, but I wouldn't waste a slot on her. Let's go on to next. Muse, I'm not even going to bother. She's a garbage champion to use. Pandarus is kind of like the poor man's version of Jolie. His ultimate is okay, I guess, but it doesn't really hit enough creatures to be effective. His Poison Snare is a cheaper form of Jolie's little make it rain kind of thing, but it's decent. He's definitely on the higher tier. I wouldn't completely negate him. If you don't have Jolie, then this is your next go-to guy. Russell, he's a cannon guy, but I don't see him doing too much damage in my tower defense. I generally don't use him. He's mid tier. He's your replacement if you don't have Jolie or I think, you know what? I actually think that the airplane dude is better than Russell, so I wouldn't use it. Gerber is my second go-to tank just because of the fact that his ultimate right here creates an extra body in the lane, and it does matter. It does block more minions, so it's a panic way of replacing one of your little footmen. It's great. I used to use Bibo a lot, Bibo, or however you pronounce him, because he does have a pretty awesome ultimate that goes all the way through. But I haven't really used him too much because his Mystic Leap isn't very. I mean, he has moves that you don't really use, and it's short range. He does still use it, but if you have him, use him. If you don't really have to. Karas, absolutely garbage in every single scenario. Never use him. He's the worst hero ever created. I'm not even gonna bother. Murphy, a pretty distraction, but that's about it. She's kind of useless, like Karas. Thanos, you think he's fun, but he's actually a garbage hero. He might be alright in tower defense, but in every other scenario, he's the squishiest thing, and I kill him in an instant. And don't waste your stones on him. I just have him because I do. Gridlock, don't bother using him. Lowest tier. He really doesn't do anything for your team in tower defense. Emily is decent. She can stun, and she does have a quite frequent stun with the flame strike, so you can clump up a bunch of enemies together so you can get off a good ultimate going. Karna, she's alright, I guess, mid tier, I guess. Her little thing right here does definitely help out the tanks a little bit, and her magic flash is a decent ult, but there are other champions that do more damage, so she's on the higher end but not quite the god tier. Teresa is a god tier champion because of her ultimate. Simple as that. And this magic mark right here, I think was it? No, it's not this one. Was it Magic Scorch? The explosion does a huge amount of damage, and usually, yeah, you see, there you go, kills everything. Spartacus, a decent tank to have instead of Gerber if you don't have Gerber, or Saizo, or anybody else, for a matter of fact. Poulon's kind of garbage. His ultimate's nice, but it's kind of like a smoke. If you don't have the means to kill your enemy, then don't use him. York. I guess York is the other poor man's option for not having Jolie or Pandaris or any of the other champions. Mira, I would never use her. She's too single target. Let's see. Grunk is decent. I don't think he's powerful enough to actually make an impact, and his attacks aren't as strong. He's more meant for arena or other missions. Krabby is the other alternative. His Ion Charge is ridiculously far and hits a multitude of minions, and you can target his Ion Storm, which is pretty handy, so if you don't have the aforementioned champions, he's always a go-to. Little Red, on par with Krabby, I guess. Bedivere, worst tank ever. I'm not even gonna bother going. You think he's he's got AOE and stuff. He dies in 2 seconds. Don't bother using him. Luke is one of my other favorite champions, just simply because he has heavy artillery, which is an AOE attack, so he becomes a cannon. A decent clearer, and Gatling gun's pretty good. It's almost like Jolie's Make It Rain. It's all about positioning, though. Chavez, don't even bother using him. What are you going to do, save your soldier? He's useless. He doesn't have enough every effect damage. Uther is another garbage champion. Don't ever use him in tower defense. Kaiser is another garbage champion. Don't ever use him. Sealy is the other alternate poor man's option. He's got a reliable stun, but I still wouldn't use him. Gorgana, garbage. I'm not going to explain. Watson, if you really don't have anybody else, Watson's a good option for an area clear, but I still wouldn't use him. Marilyn's not even worthy of mentioning because she's garbage. West is a single target, so you really have no purpose of using him there. Media is another garbage champion because she really can only do single target. Blaine, I have never ever seen anybody use Blaine in tower defense. It's a waste. Salmon is good if you have him leveled up. Nobody ever really levels him up though because he's a beginning champion and nobody likes him. Alma is handy in creating extra bodies, but there are better champions to use. Baggins, obviously I never use him, so I wouldn't be able to explain to you. He might be decent. He looks like he's got some good area of effect attacks. Monk Sun is probably another decent tank that you can have, but I've never used him. I'm gonna just put him up on the higher tier though, because he does seem like he's got a good ultimate and a multiple targets spellcast and stuff like that. Gears would seem like a very good champion as well to have in tower defense, because he's got, you want to place him close to a lane and near your tank so he can get off his full throttle. And yeah, that's the rundown. Hope you guys enjoy that short, quick champion. If you guys have any questions or want me to make other videos, just let me know.